guys, what's going on? ZeroMagnumX here, and welcome to the second episode of Kaijudo Korner. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is my budget Cobalt Control deck. I'm going to make adjustments to it to take it kind of out of budget eventually, but for now this is what I have. First off, we have one Cobalt, and these two are in here for placeholders, but they're definitely going to be Cobalts whenever I can get them. I'm looking to trade for them or get them by buying them later on, but mostly I'm looking to trade for them. I proxy these as Cobalts to test the deck out, and it works fantastically. So that's so I can have accurate testing and know what is what. Alright, then we have 3 Blinder Beetles. Just very good card overall. 3 Entanglers. That's the Enforcer package. Okay, here's the rest of the Light Civilization. 3 Star Lanterns. These are often used over like Scaradorable, Gloom Hollow, and things like that as a primary blocker. So that's what I'm using them. It turns a deck from having to be, you know, oh, you need this like $15, $20 card into, hey, here's an easy to get uncommon card. Let's use 3 of it, and it promotes the deck strategy by tapping down their creatures, because in this deck, you want to tap down your opponent's creatures and then attack them, and then come in for like a final blow where you basically wipe all their shields out and are able to attack 6 times or so in a turn, or bust like 2 shields plus another shield, things like that. 1 Grand Guru Tower Keeper. 2 Keeper of Dawn. I think 3 is too cloggy, so I like 2. 3 Storm Spark Blasts. I see a lot of lists running this. I think I just want this to be a Lyra when I get them, so I plan on putting 3 Lyra in their places, because I just never really liked the card. I mean, it's cool if you have a lot of attackers on the field, but this deck is kind of passive aggressive, so this, I think, could just be better as a Lyra. 1 Shock and Awe. It's tech. It kind of promotes the strategy of pinning down the opponent's creatures. It will probably become a Sunshock after I get the Lyras in here, but for now, it's a solid creature. It may become a blocker. Originally, I had this as the 3,000 point Enforcer, if you guys don't have access to Shock and Awe. 1 Sunshock as tech. I mean, it's a shield blast. It can save you, you know, from dying. It's kind of the idea. Alright, that's it for Light Civilization. Dark Civilization, 2 Dark Scaradorable. This helps with your endgame, so you drop him, bust a shield, and let's say you have a Cobalt out. You can come in, and then like another creature, you can come out and almost go for game. As long as you paced yourself and took out a couple of shields earlier, this guy can mean, you know, they lose. Or even sometimes just dropping in and breaking 1 shield, giving them that 1 card, and then following turn, dropping like another one and attacking for game at that point is just fantastic. Okay, we have 3 Bone Blades. They're pretty much staple in this deck. You need them. If you don't have these, I don't suggest running this deck, but they're really mandatory. 3 Terrapit. This, I would say, is about the same thing as the Bone Blades. These are mandatory in the deck, despite it being budget. You need these cards a lot, because it just deals with significant threats that you yourself cannot deal with. Then finally 2 Fumes. Because you are attacking, you know, your opponent to death and getting rid of their creatures, and just removing the creatures and getting them off the board, eventually they're going to have to waste resources by landing cards from their hand, and this guy can pin cards out of their hand and can be a pivotal move to put them into where they are, like top deck mode, most of us call it, at least at my locals, and from that point on, you can just control the board state, and the only thing they really have are what's in their shield zones, and then this is whenever you can start making your end game. Alright, then we have 1 Skull Shatter. After testing this, I'm indecisive about it. I like it and I don't. There's aspects I love of the card, and there's aspects I don't like of the card. So, it discards their hand for 8 mana, and it's not a shield trigger. So, it's player choice preference, I think, but a lot of people run like 2 to 3 of these because they're so important. I'm just running the one of, and it's there for whenever I need it, and it's mana otherwise. That's the way I see it. Okay, to Rosalka. I don't know how I feel about this card in here. It doesn't seem like it wants to be proactive for what the deck's supposed to do. It just feels like it's almost unneeded. I mean, it's the same thing with Sashinels. I took them out because it didn't seem like this deck needed it, as weird as that. So they might become something else. If you guys have suggestions of what to run over Rosalka, let me know. But I see this because it bounces like big threats that you can't deal with, in case you need to be like, oh, okay, here's a Terra Pit. So it's good versus ramp, but it's not so great versus decks that are the same pace as you. So I'm in between about it. It's good that you have it, but I don't know. Okay, 3 logo scans. You need these in this deck. I can tell you that much. They just help you dig and find what you need. I don't have Crystal Memories. I think that's the card, which allows you to find anything in your deck. So I use Search of Depths instead. And it's 1 mana cheaper, I believe, for 3. And with the Shield Blast, you can just dig 4 and add a card to your hand, and the rest go in the bottom. So instead of a Find All, this is just it's a smaller tutor. And then finally, 3 Spy Mission for this deck because, or I'm sorry, 3 Spy Mission. 1 was sticking, my apologies. I thought it was 3. 3 Spy Mission for the deck. So it's okay. It's mana at worst case scenario. At best case scenario, it's a shield trigger. I don't like hard casting it ever, but sometimes you need cards. And it's okay, like, really late game, whenever you might have, like, 9 or 10 mana on the board, and then you have a 6-drop, and then, or you draw into, like, finding your 6-drop, you can go for game, or, like, a Cobalt or something like that. So, in those cases, it's okay, but this is just much better as mana or being a shield. Anyway, guys, that's the deck. I hope you enjoyed it, and please remember to comment, favorite, and subscribe. Also, just as a quick note, this is not a 40 card deck, it's a little bit above that. And I hope you enjoyed this second edition of Kaijudo Korner. This is your host, ZeroMagnumX, and I'm out. Later, guys.